Hello again, my subscribers. Today we are doing a review. Today's review is Tick, Tick, Boom, released in 2021. The cast is Andrew Garfield, Alexandra Shipp, Vanessa Hudgens, Robin DeJesus, Joshua Henry, and Judith Light. The director is Lin-Manuel Miranda. This is the synopsis. Based on the semi-autobiographical musical of the same name, Jonathan Larson, on the cusp of his 30th birthday, struggles to break into the world of musical theater. He hopes that his new musical, Superbia, which he has been writing and rewriting for a few years and received numerous rejections, will do just that. Here's the review. This is Jonathan Larson's story. Before the Tony Awards, before the Pulitzer Prize, before we lost him. Everything you're about to see is true, except for the parts Jonathan made up. These words kick off this adaptation of the three-person musical Tick, Tick, Boom. This musical originally started as a 1991 rock monologue by the late Jonathan Larson, who would later write the book, lyrics, and music for the highly successful 1996 rock opera Rent. Unfortunately, as all musical theater scholars and Rent heads know, Larson never got to see the success of Rent. He died of an aortic aneurysm at age 35 on the night of its last dress rehearsal. The tragedy of his death is tenfold when we consider that he never had a breakthrough musical before Rent. Yes, he tried to break in with Superbia, but that failed due to a multitude of reasons, most of which are discussed in the rock monologue, the three-person musical, and the film adaptation directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, a confessed fan of Jonathan Larson, who also is a successful musical theater composer in his own right. See In the Heights and Hamilton for reference. This is Miranda's directorial debut, and there's no better story for him to tell than this one. As he said, he understands Larson's struggles because he experienced them himself. Granted, he was younger than Larson when In the Heights premiered in 2008. Miranda was 28 then. But there's no question that the point still stands. Miranda's empathy as a director is on full display, as is his careful attention to detail. Throughout the movie, he sprinkles in little references to Rent, but if you blink, you will miss them. But Miranda also shows that he has exceptional visual aesthetics. He matches the camera work and editing to the energy of the songs, which is a massive part of Larson's creative voice. Blatant, angry, desperate, and yet poetic and empathetic. Over the years, that has become a complaint of mine regarding the 2005 film adaptation of Rent, the lack of energy in the camera work and visual panache. While excelling in character interaction and reaction, Chris Columbus doesn't have the visual voice that Rent needs for the full power of the show to come through to the audience. Miranda has that energy, and it comes through in Tick, Tick, Boom. You're glued to the screen every second, taking in what he's showing you. I hope this isn't the only movie Miranda directs in his career. The movie starts with Jonathan, played by Andrew Garfield, performing his rock monologue Tick, Tick, Boom. A few liberties are taken already. Rather than just himself, a backup singer, who, by the way, was actor-singer Roger Bart in real life, and a band called the Well Hungarians. Miranda and screenwriter Stephen Levinson, best known for writing the book for the stage musical Dear Evan Hansen, as well as its 2021 film adaptation, have meshed the rock monologue and three-actor play version together. It's not a distracting approach, but it is one that ardent Larson fans will notice, as well as a few other poetic liberties. The changing of John's friend Michael, named Matt O'Grady in real life, to whom Larson dedicated the rock monologue, The excising of certain people in Larson's life, his sister Julie and her family, and Victoria Leacock, who was instrumental in getting Larson's work shown to people. Adapting a true story, a literary work, or a stage play to a film medium is challenging. If you love the original story, you want to be as accurate as possible to the source. But movies will only allow so much, and this film is no different. The details would have bogged down the story, and Miranda knows this. But he's still damn careful in tipping us off early that liberties are taken and remaining true to Larson's voice and intent. That is key in any adaptation, the author's purpose. Frank Darabont, the Academy Award-nominated director of The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, understands that, which is why his adaptations work. Miranda's no different here. He doesn't let his love of Larson interfere with his instincts as a storyteller. What is vital to the story stays, and what isn't essential has to go. That is the nature of adaptation. But as long as you remain true to the author's intent, fans will forgive you for those excisions. Garfield himself is a revelation. He always is in every movie he's ever starred in, but this is where we get to see method acting at its finest since the days of Sir Daniel Day-Lewis. His mannerisms, vocal inflections, and body language perfectly mirror Larson, but never fall into parody. He humanizes the man rather than portraying the icon and legend. That's a tricky balance to achieve, especially when he says to somebody at a party, "I am the future of musical theater." By the way, he did call himself that in real life. I admire that about this movie. Rather than show us the legend named Jonathan Larson, we get to see a man named Jonathan Larson, warts and all. It's easy to sugarcoat an icon when their work affects us deeply on every level. But it's important when telling a true story to be honest about your subject. Miranda knew this when he wrote Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton was not a saint. He fucked up a lot in his life. Larson wasn't a saint. He fucked up a lot too. Granted, not at the level at which Alexander Hamilton did, but he screwed up. He was stubborn and hard-headed at times. He wasn't present with his girlfriend. He still had a lot to learn about the LGBTQ+ community. He was evolving daily, and Miranda, Levinson, and Garfield excel in showing that part of Jonathan Larson. Would Rent be stuck with its portrayal of Angel? Of course not. I have no doubt Larson would update Rent to be more reflective of today. But of course, given the circumstances, what we have is what we get. Alexandra Shipp is excellent as Susan, who was inspired by a real girlfriend with whom Jonathan was in an on-off-again relationship. When she sings Come to Your Senses, it's devastating. She wants to stay with Jonathan and him to be successful, but she has her aspirations, and the reality that she can't have her cake and eat it too is so palpable that even though we know the outcome, we still don't want it to come to pass. That's part of this movie's success, a complex technique to pull off if the audience doesn't care about the characters. The other star in this movie is the creative process, a simultaneously rewarding and, in some ways, abusive journey for the artist. It's one in which every writer, director, musician, essayist, and even critic struggles in their own unique way daily. A common misconception among creatives and audience members is thinking that the artist sits down at their desk or stool and the art flows out of them. The truth of the matter is far grimmer than that. It is grueling. You stare at the blank page or canvas, wondering what you will write or draw. Finding inspiration is taxing, especially when you still have yet to break into the business of your craft. Are you ever going to break in, or will you join the multitudes of artists who let their dreams die? Or, as the movie asks, will you be led by fear or love? We all know what Jonathan did, and we see the result. But it's Miranda's portrayal of the creative process that's the most revelatory. He shows you what it's like, tedious and frustrating. You can hear the proverbial little man inside Jonathan's brain banging his head against the wall. The muse is far away, and who knows when she'll arrive. So much pressure is on his shoulders to find a new song that will connect with the rest of the story. He bats back and forth about whether or not to bother with it. That's an everyday emotional roller coaster that most artists go on. It's going great, it's awful, it's the best thing I've ever done, why did I bother with this? I could go on and on all day about that feeling. It's self-flagellation and self-rewarding all the same. Ultimately, all that matters is if you still feel the most like yourself. If you still feel like you have your place in the sun, your corner of the sky, as it were. Jonathan Larson's place in the sun was songwriting, even to the detriment of his relationships, which Miranda portrays beautifully on screen. Another theme in this musical is limited time on Earth. Even when this was a rock monologue, Larson worried about whether or not he would succeed as a composer. How is he going to spend the rest of his life? Waiting tables and hoping that somebody will finally look at what he has to offer, or give up his spark and work a 9-to-5 job with a 401k and health benefits, like his friend. He's approaching 30 and has nothing to show for it. The Grim Reaper's appearance is written all over Tick, Tick, Boom, just like it was written all over Rent. What do you do with the time you are given? Overall, Lin-Manuel Miranda's adaptation of Tick, Tick, Boom is a must-have for Larson fans and Rent heads alike, but also those struggling daily with the creative process. The songs are memorable, the filmmaking is gripping, and the plot moves at a clip. I don't know how Larson himself would have responded to this adaptation. Only those who were closest to him could understand that. But to my mind, I'm happy that this exists, if only to show people that the actual act of creating any work of art is far more challenging than they think. Should you see it? Should you not see it? Don't say the answer. Actions speak louder than words. But the answer is yes. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and favorite the video if you enjoyed it. Share it with everybody. Subscribe today. I upload every Saturday, or at least try to. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified of new videos, like the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Tumblr pages. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay safe and healthy. And remember, it's chaos. Be kind.